come undisputed and things like that, but once he got it, he like, basically like, what the hell? And that's, you can see with Floyd too. Floyd really was like that too. He really...
Gervonta, Tank, Davis, and Lamont Roach are getting ready for their lightweight title fight on March 1st. But their media session took an unexpected turn when an uninvited guest suddenly showed up.
1, 2, 3. Good stuff.
Well, real quick.
Before their fight, Gervonta, Tank, Davis, and Lamont Roach, along with their teams, gathered for media and promotional duties. But in a shocking twist, Floyd Mayweather unexpectedly crashed the meeting, causing a major disruption. Davis, however, was more than prepared for the showdown, and tensions quickly erupted into a heated brawl between the two. As people rushed in to break them apart, Davis and Mayweather still managed to get physical. In the end, Floyd had the last laugh, shoving Davis before the scuffle was finally stopped. This was the first time the two had come face-to-face since their fight last April. The tension started when Mayweather, during an interview with Fight Hype, criticized boxers for focusing too much on luxury instead of honing their skills. Things escalated when he dragged Shakur Stevenson into the conversation, spread false claims about Davis's fight, and openly mocked the Baltimore champion.
Those are lifetime losses. And you know, as long as you know you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
The most shocking part was how Mayweather didn't just take sides against Davis in his last fight. He acted in a way that didn't reflect a true boxing legend. He was so eager to see Davis lose that simply announcing the fight's cancellation on Instagram wasn't enough for him. He even went as far as calling a fight that was an obvious win for Davis a 50-50 matchup. On top of that, he gave Frank Martin advice on how to beat Tank, making it clear where his loyalties stood. This time, Mayweather took his feud with Gervonta Davis to another level, secretly reaching out to Davis's opponent, Frank Martin, to give him tips on how to take down Tank. Whether Martin ignored the advice or Mayweather's strategy simply wasn't enough, we may never know. On fight night, Martin started strong and put on an impressive performance in the early rounds. But it all came crashing down at 1 minute and 49 seconds into the 8th round when Davis landed a crushing blow, sending Martin flat to the canvas. With that knockout, Davis secured the 30th win of his career in dominant fashion. But the real issue wasn't just the fight, it was Floyd Mayweather's involvement. His long-running feud with Gervonta Davis had turned into one of the most intense mentor versus protege clashes in recent history. In the lead-up to the fight, Frank Martin admitted in an interview that Mayweather had secretly offered him some assistance. It was clear that Floyd wasn't just supporting Martin, he was using him as a way to get back at Davis for what he saw as disrespect.
So what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting? And has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
Boxing fans and insiders were stunned when Frank, the Ghost, Martin revealed that he had been getting advice from Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The highly anticipated lightweight showdown took place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th. Despite the behind-the-scenes drama, Davis proved why he's still at the top, successfully defending his WBA title in dominant fashion.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. You know, go do it when, cause not.
As expected, the trash talk between Davis and Martin was heating up in the lead-up to the fight. Despite the back and forth, Tank Davis remained the clear favorite. However, before stepping into the ring, Martin made a surprising revelation during an appearance on the Pivot podcast on YouTube. He shared that Floyd Mayweather had been giving him strategic advice, reminiscent of Mike Tyson's aggressive style, to help him gain an edge against Davis.
Thing is, I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion.
Frank Martin admitted that receiving advice from Floyd Mayweather gave him a unique sense of confidence. However, the backlash against Mayweather for helping Martin didn't sit well with him. I do what I want and support whoever I choose. Is that a crime? Mayweather fired back at critics. What's wrong with Frank coming to me for advice? If Tank came, I'd advise him too. So what's the problem? Despite their past differences, Mayweather had been in Davis's corner even after their split. Davis, for the most part, had always shown respect for the former champion. But with the Davis-Martin fight, the lines were clearly redrawn, and alliances had shifted.
Become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great.
Especially after last month's highly publicized online feud between Tank Davis and Mayweather, the tension was at an all-time high. When asked if he had learned anything valuable from Mayweather before the fight, Frank Martin had an interesting response. He could tell you to go run at 2 o'clock in the morning because 9 times out of 10, we know your opponent is sleeping at that time, said the Detroit native. It wasn't necessarily about training at odd hours, but as Martin explained, it was about gaining a mental edge, small details that could make a big difference in the end. He downplayed it, saying it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but acknowledged that coming from someone like Mayweather, who reached the pinnacle of the sport, it carried extra weight.
And we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, because you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
You take it seriously, and it gives you a different kind of motivation when you do it, Martin said. He added that even if a boxer can't replicate Floyd's techniques perfectly, just learning from him gives a different sense of confidence. Interestingly, that's the same mindset Mike Tyson had before his fights to gain a mental edge. It's no surprise he became the youngest heavyweight champion and later an undisputed champion. Tyson was known for training at 3 a.m., chopping wood, and pushing himself beyond limits to outwork his opponents. However, neither Tyson's old-school methods nor Mayweather's advice were enough to stop Gervonta Davis from executing his game plan on fight night. Despite coming off a year-long layoff due to his 2022 hit-and-run case, which led to him serving 90 days in a Baltimore prison, Davis returned in dominant fashion, securing an 8th-round knockout victory.
Claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
The time away from the ring did nothing to slow Davis down. After knocking out Ryan Garcia in April last year, he returned with another dominant finish against Frank Martin. His sharpness and power were still on full display. In the lead-up to the fight, tensions between Davis and Mayweather escalated on social media. The feud got so heated that Mayweather even told his fans to skip the fight and watch UFC instead. Famous boxing reporter Michael Benson took note, sharing the drama as it unfolded.
He told Frank that he was giving Frank tips.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word of mouth?
I seen
Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta "Tank" Davis kept their feud alive, with Mayweather stirring the pot by claiming the Frank Martin fight was cancelled. Davis quickly clapped back, saying, "Keep talking, and I'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." On fight night, Davis let his fists do the talking, delivering a brutal knockout win over Martin. After the fight, he addressed Mayweather's involvement, saying, "He gave Frank tips, but I knew that wasn't enough to beat me. It's better to beef with him than be cool with him."
people drive by while I was running.
Oh, really? So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. He got a club.
Gervonta Davis revealed that it was Floyd Mayweather who told Frank Martin about his 5 a.m. training runs, further fueling their ongoing feud. At one point, Davis even expressed interest in settling things with Mayweather in the ring, listing him among his potential opponents. During an interview with Cigar Talk, host Nagy brought up the tension with Mayweather, prompting a candid response from Davis. "A lot of people don't know what Floyd does. He was coming at me, and I knew it. That's why I responded. There was no reason for me to go at Floyd first," Davis explained, referring to Mayweather's initial comments that he felt were aimed at him.
Oh, okay.
I knew for sure that wasn't going to be.
When Nagy mentioned that Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather's relationship over the years seemed like a mix of ups and downs, Davis completely shut it down. He not only denied it, but also claimed that he had already surpassed Floyd's legacy. "I'm at the point where I've passed him, and I'm doing it at a younger age," Tank stated confidently. But he didn't stop there. To back up his claim, Davis hinted at a major new deal he had signed. Reports suggest that Mayweather's 2013 deal with Showtime was worth $200 million. Davis, however, claimed his deal was even bigger. He doesn't know about this one yet. It's bigger than his deal, the lightweight champion said. Despite the bold statement, Davis didn't disclose the exact amount of his massive new contract with PBC.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Many fans expected Davis to outline a big plan for 2025. More fights, more activity, and major events under his GTD promotions. But those hopes were quickly crushed when they realized his big announcement was actually about retirement. Before stepping away, though, the 30-year-old Davis will face 29-year-old Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, defending his WBA title for the second time.
For the sport? How many times do you want to get in the ring next year if it was your choice? 3 times. 3? So 3 fights for sure. Are you retiring?
Fans expected Davis to keep the momentum going after his fight with Frank Martin in June. Instead, he shocked them with an ultimatum. His final run in boxing will end in 2025. After next year, I'm out of the sport, he declared. But why is Davis so eager to retire at just 30? What about the fans and his drive to put on a show? It seems boxing is starting to feel dull for him. He opened up about his decision in a candid interview with Fight Hub TV.
Come and fight, Tank Baltimore. How about a homecoming fight?
You lost the love?
The undefeated 30-0 fighter didn't hold back, admitting that he's lost interest in boxing. This sport is trash, garbage. I'm fed up with it, Davis declared. His words didn't sit well with many fans, especially those who have been pushing him to take on tougher opponents and prove himself against the best in the division. But for Davis, it's not about pleasing the critics. He's focused on making smart moves, securing big paydays, and doing what he enjoys most, knocking out his opponents.
It looked like you were talking about the time was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously
The big question remains, how will fans remember Gervonta Davis? How will his legacy be judged? Davis himself doesn't seem too concerned. In a conversation with Fight Hype, when asked if he sees himself among boxing's all-time greats, he shrugged it off. I don't even care about that, bro. Where I'm from, I'll forever be the greatest. I'll always be a G to myself, he said. While fans only have a year left to witness Davis's explosive knockouts and signature backflips, his upcoming fight with Roach Jr. won't be his last, at least not yet.
You said you know your next fights. Can we know who they are?
Probably the Ryan, hopefully.
Davis could still fit in a couple of fights in 2025 before officially calling it quits. On top of that, he's still locked into a multi-fight contract with PBC, reportedly covering 6 to 7 bouts and even including a clause for a potential showdown with Shakur Stevenson. So, what happens to those obligations now? No one knows for sure. It all depends on how things unfold, and whether Davis is truly committed to his retirement plan.
What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more.
Gervonta Davis is set to return to the ring at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn this March, where he'll defend his WBA lightweight title against current super featherweight champion Lamont Roach. During the press conference, Tank made a big announcement. He plans to retire at the end of 2025. He also named the 3 opponents he wants to face before hanging up his gloves. The first is Roach in March, and in an interview with Fight Hub TV, he revealed his next potential matchup, probably Ryan Garcia.
Him. Who that? The Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this. I keep screaming his name, he haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
Davis and Garcia previously faced off in April 2023, where Tank knocked Garcia down twice before securing a 7th-round knockout victory, handing King Ree his first professional loss. Currently, Garcia is serving a 1-year suspension after failing a drug test following his fight with Devin Haney. However, he'll be eligible to return in April 2025, opening the door for a potential summer showdown with Davis. As for his final fight before retirement, Tank has his sights set on Teofimo Lopez. When asked about the matchup, he didn't hold back. Yeah, I do. Teo, I'll slap the hell out of him when I see him, Davis said.
What do you say to those who might be afraid? So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what?
Teofimo Lopez, the reigning WBO super lightweight champion, claimed the title after defeating Josh Taylor in June 2023 and has since defended it twice. A potential showdown between Davis and Lopez has been a hot topic among boxing fans for years, and now, with Davis eyeing retirement, it could finally happen. Meanwhile, as Davis prepares to face Lamont Roach, he set the stage with an intense press conference. Earlier this evening, Tank officially announced his March 1st fight against Roach, with the press event wrapping up just moments ago. With plenty of debate surrounding Davis's choice of opponent, Roach wasted no time addressing the critics when he took the podium, sharing his thoughts with the public.
How much you want to bet? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want to bet? How much you want to bet? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a bet.
I'm excited to be part of this, and on March 1st, it's going to be a great event, Roach said. Right now, I'm not really into all the back and forth, but trust me, when fight night comes, it'll be a show. Same results, we just have to wait and see. We've got 3 months to prepare, so it's going to be a good one. This is a huge opportunity, and we're going to take full advantage of it. Roach made it clear that he's coming in with one goal: victory. Everybody knows what I'm here to do. If you don't, then stop and pay attention. You're in for a surprise. I know Tank won't be surprised, though. I think he took this fight to silence the doubters, the people questioning him. He knows I'm a dog, and he wants to test himself against that. But on March 1st, I'm going to show everyone what happens when two dogs step into the ring, and I'll be the one walking out victorious.
For you, in your next fight?
He has skills. Even though he's at a smaller weight class, I feel as though Lamont have, and he's one of the guys that...
After their initial statements, both fighters sat down for a Q&A session to discuss the fight in more detail. Here's what Tank had to say about why a fight with Lomachenko didn't happen and why Roach was the next best choice. He's got skills, even though he's coming up from a smaller weight class. Lamont is actually one of the guys I came up with in boxing, and he's still doing well. A lot of the fighters we started with aren't really in the picture anymore, so people might not be as familiar with him. But trust me, he's got real talent. He's definitely a top opponent.
I actually started with, came up with in the sport of boxing. Actually, still doing well. Everybody that's started with us.
Roach on how his style differs from Tank's past opponents, skill-wise. I bring a lot to the table. I can adapt, I can fight in different styles. I'm tough, gritty, smart, and sharp. Whatever I need to do, I'll do it. The other guys Tank has faced, either they were one-trick ponies or they just didn't have enough. Gervonta Tank Davis has always found ways to shock fans, whether with his knockout power in the ring or his bold statements outside of it. But now, the fighter known for his devastating finishes seems to be growing tired of it all. Instead of building his legacy as one of the greatest, Davis may be looking for an early exit from the sport. Fans have seen little of him in recent years, expecting more activity once he put his legal troubles behind him. He did return to fight Frank Martin in June, but despite rumors and promises, his next move kept getting delayed. Now, it looks like that delay might become permanent. During the first official press conference for Davis vs. Roach, Tank made it clear what fans can, and can't, expect from him moving forward.
Martin press conference, it looked like you were talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously...
When asked about his plans for 2025, Davis didn't hesitate. He made it clear he's ready to walk away. After next year, I'm out of it. Out of the sport, he stated. This announcement didn't sit well with fans, who have grown used to seeing him fight only occasionally. Many took to the comment section to voice their disappointment and frustration over his decision. That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, events, and big moments, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on top-tier content. Until next time, peace out.